And I'm Laurent.
And today we're in New York City.
And prices in New York City are crazy expensive. Just take the price of hotels, restaurants, even taxi cabs, and double it, and you get New York City prices. But luckily, there's also plenty of things you can do for free in New York City, and this is what we're going to show you in this video.
I moved here right out of college, and I was always looking to save some money. So today we're going to show you our top 10 things to do there for free. Let's go. So first on our list is the Staten Island Ferry.
Staten Island is an island that's 5 miles away from the southern tip of Manhattan.
And there's a ferry that runs every half an hour each way, and it's completely free.
And it's amazing to think that you have this ferry, which is basically a mini cruise, and it's completely free.
But to be fair, the ferry is not nearly as luxurious as a cruise ship.
No, but from the ferry you have amazing views of the city skyline and some of New York's most famous landmarks. Taking the Staten Island Ferry is a way to get back some of the taxes that the city and the state of New York charge on your hotel bill.
And on the sail from Manhattan to Staten Island, you want to be on the right side of the ferry. You will have an incredible view of the Statue of Liberty.
And if you get on the last ferry before sunset, you may have a chance to take a picture like this.
You will also see famous Ellis Island and the place where millions of immigrants first landed in America. Once you arrive at Staten Island, you have to get off the ferry. But if you don't want to visit Staten Island, you still have time to catch the ferry back to Manhattan.
And on the way back, if you stay in front of the ferry, you will see some of the most amazing views of both the Jersey skyline and the Manhattan skyline. And second on our list is the Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge was completed in 1884, and since then it's been one of the most iconic landmarks in New York.
Although the bridge is mostly made for cars, you can also walk the bridge.
You can catch the bridge promenade from City Hall on the southeast side of Manhattan, and from there you walk a little over a mile to the other side of the bridge in Brooklyn.
Although it's only a mile long, it's actually hard to do the walk in less than half hour because it is so crowded. And if you're going to stop to take pictures, which you should, then it's probably going to take like 2 hours round trip.
You can also use your bike on the bridge, but I don't recommend doing it.
The walkway is just too narrow and there's too many pedestrians to ride your bike safely. When you get toward the middle of the bridge, you can take incredible shots of the suspension cables.
It's hard to get a bad picture from the bridge. It's just amazing.
And it's also cool to see the bridge from below, and you can best do this on the Brooklyn side.
And make sure you put on sunscreen, because I got burned walking across the bridge. So third on our list is the High Line.
It's an elevated walking trail that was built on an old abandoned train track.
And some of the sections still have old rails.
The first section only opened in 2009, but in 10 years has become one of the most popular attractions in New York.
Because the old train track was elevated, you look at the city below. And while you walk past the buildings along the line, you can see inside people's houses, which I love.
The High Line is approximately 1.5 miles long and you can do it in an hour, but like most things in New York, it can get very crowded and you will have to be patient.
You'll be surrounded by thousands of tourists, and many of them don't walk very fast.
Some of the sections feel really urban and you're clearly in New York City, but other sections are more wooded and you almost forget you're in the city.
It has some fantastic architecture along the way. My favorite was the Zaha Hadid building.
And it also has some really cool street art.
And the northern end of the High Line takes you to the Hudson Yards vessel.
And fourth on our list is the vessel at Hudson Yards.
It's also the newest attraction on our list because it only opened in early 2019.
But very quickly it has become one of the top things to see in New York City, and the hope is that it will become some kind of the Eiffel Tower of New York.
Although it's only 150 feet tall, it's quite spectacular in its design. It's not the size that's impressive, but the shape of it.
Yeah, it's made to look like a giant honeycomb.
It's like a reverse Christmas tree with the diameter at the base is pretty narrow, but it gets wider as you go up.
And it is made of 150 different flights of stairs that total more than 1 mile.
Although going inside the vessel is free, you have to buy a ticket at least a week in advance because the waiting list is very long.
But you don't really have to go inside to enjoy it.
No matter where you are around the vessel, you can take incredible pictures because the shape is so unique.
And the copper-colored reflective steel kind of reminds us of the Bean in Chicago.
Yeah.
And you can also take great pictures from the inside of the shopping center at Hudson Yards.
And fifth on our list is Central Park.
Central Park is one of the most famous places in New York, and we had to have it on the list.
It's truly an urban oasis right in the middle of Manhattan.
It is the most visited urban park in the US, and it has more than 40 million visitors a year.
Some of the visitors are tourists, but most visitors are just New Yorkers trying to escape the frenzy of the city.
And Central Park is kind of crowded, but it's still a lot more peaceful and relaxing than anything around it.
In some parts of the park, like the Ramble, you feel like you're in the middle of a forest. Central Park is 2.5 miles long and has a lot of different sections and landmarks within the park.
One of the most famous is the Bethesda Fountain.
It's very vibrant with street performers and couples taking their wedding pictures.
And another place you can visit is the Belvedere Castle.
It is a bit cheesy, but from the castle you have an incredible view of the northern half of the park.
Central Park also has many bodies of water, and you can rent a rowing boat at the Loeb Boathouse.
Another great place is the conservatory, where little kids like to rent remote-controlled model boats.
Central Park probably shouldn't be something you want to visit on your very first day. You should save it for later in your New York stay.
Yeah, after a couple of days in New York's craziness, you'll be happy to escape in Central Park for a couple of hours.
And sixth on our list is the World Trade Center.
The World Trade Center has a special place in the heart of every New Yorker and every American because of 9/11.
Yeah, every American remembers exactly where they were on 9/11.
The 9/11 Memorial is a very moving experience.
There are the two big holes where the two Twin Towers used to be.
And the names of almost 3,000 victims of the terrorist attacks are inscribed on the wall.
It is really gut-wrenching for all the people of our generation who lived through that event.
Yeah. But the architectural revival of the last 15 years makes the World Trade Center really interesting to visit.
Several high-rises have gone up in replacement of the famous Twin Towers.
One World Trade is probably the most famous one, as it is the tallest building in the US. But our favorite building at the World Trade Center is the Oculus.
It is an absolutely spectacular structure.
It's like a modern white cathedral.
Yeah, the Oculus is a mall where you can find all the big brands, but it's also a big train station.
It was designed by Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava,
who we love because he also designed the amazing Art Institute in Milwaukee.
Both inside and outside, all the shapes and angles are so original, you can stay there for hours just taking amazing pictures.
You cannot go to New York and not take a look at the Oculus. It is so incredible.
So seventh on our list is Times Square.
And to be perfectly honest, Times Square is not our favorite activity to do in New York City.
But whether you like it or not, you cannot visit New York City and not go to Times Square. It's one of the most famous spots in the city.
And this is where you can really experience all the craziness and over-the-top aspect of New York City.
And you really can't help but be fascinated by all the signs and lights and billboards. It's sensory overload.
And the ironic thing, though, is that you will hardly ever find any real New Yorker in Times Square.
Nope, instead, all you'll find are tourists from all over the world. It's really tourist central.
And right around Times Square, you'll find all the different Broadway shows,
as well as many other touristy attractions.
Just go there once, take your selfies, and never go back.
Never go back.
And eighth on our list is Grand Central Station.
Some of you might wonder why we have a train station on our list.
And of course, Grand Central Station is a train station, but it's a lot more than a train station.
First of all, Grand Central Station is great for people watching.
You have thousands of people swirling around. It's like a beehive in there.
Then Grand Central Station is also an architectural wonder. It's spectacular.
We love all the architectural details, and we love the ceiling that represents the 12 zodiac signs.
I particularly like the iconic chandeliers.
Then Grand Central Station has also become a big shopping center.
You can find all kinds of stores, from luggage to beauty products to wine to gourmet food. And you even have a huge Apple store right there in the main terminal.
And the place to find gourmet food is the Grand Central Market.
When you're in there, you feel like you're at a farmer's market in Italy.
You can enjoy all the smells of the bread and the cheese and the produce and all the spices. And Grand Central is also a great place to have lunch at the food court.
And ninth on our list is Chinatown.
Chinatown is one of our favorite neighborhoods to visit in New York City.
You don't feel like you're fully in China, but you don't really feel like you're in America either.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting mix of the two.
One of the funniest things to do in Chinatown is to look at all the logos of the big brands that are written in Chinese, like McDonald's or all the banks.
And the streets of Chinatown are buzzing with people, both tourists but also locals.
There are lots of street vendors that sell all kinds of cheap stuff. A lot of it are rip-offs of the big brands.
But there's also all the street markets that are pretty cool.
With fruits and veggies you've never seen before.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out what some of those were. And there's lots of stores that sell Chinese pastries and candies.
Our favorite street in Chinatown is Doyer Street.
It's a little street that swirls around and it has tons of restaurants with outdoor seating.
Another spot we really like is the Mahayana Buddhist Temple.
It is right next to the entrance of the Manhattan Bridge.
It's free to visit and it has a beautiful 16th century Buddha statue.
It's actually the largest Buddha in New York City.
It's a very peaceful place to escape the craziness of the city.
And last on our list is the campus of Columbia University.
Columbia has a special place in my heart because this is where I first moved when I lived in New York City.
So every time we go to New York, we have to go to Columbia University. It's kind of a little pilgrimage we do.
If you're an American, chances are you've seen many other campuses, and Columbia won't be anything special.
But if you are a foreign tourist and you want to experience what an American university campus looks like, then Columbia is the place in New York City where you can do that.
We love to see all the students running around, going to class, or studying on the lawn.
And we like the architectures of the buildings and all the outdoor statues throughout the campus.
Next to Columbia campus is the tomb of President Ulysses S Grant.
It is a grand building, and it's actually the largest mausoleum in North America.
The tombs of both Grant and his wife Julia are on the lower floor.
And the mausoleum kind of reminded us of Napoleon's tomb at the Invalides in Paris.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did,
Give it a big thumbs up
and put your comments
in the comment section below.
And if you want to subscribe to our channel, we are going to put a link right here.
And if you want to get notifications about our latest videos, be sure to click the bell.
And if you want to watch our other videos, we're going to put one right here and another one right there.
Bye.
Bye.